Since I was a kid, I always wondered where all this order came from. Why is our world so precise, so calculated? But deep inside, there was always a little voice saying, maybe no one designed it. Maybe everything just happened on its own. At school, I learned that humans came from monkeys, from a cell deep in the ocean, a blind, aimless, meaningless universe. And my teenage mind got trapped between books of faith and books of biology. If I came from a monkey, then where does the soul come from? If everything is random, why does nothing seem random? Time went by. I studied science, explored philosophy, and on every page I turned, I found both answers and questions. There was a question inside me. The external answer said, "You are the product of time and natural selection." But my inner question kept shouting, "Why is time such an artist? Why is selection so intelligent?" They say Darwin discovered on the Galapagos Islands that life is constantly changing. What adapts, survives. What doesn't, disappears. That's the theory of evolution. A beautiful explanation for diversity, but not for how it all began. Why did the first cell come into existence at all? Out of endless possibilities, how did such delicate order emerge? No physicist has ever explained how lifeless matter suddenly became aware, made decisions, and multiplied. They say, accidents happen. But accidents can't write programs. They can't design DNA. Could it be that the ladder of 3 billion letters in every cell, the letters that carry the instructions of life, is just a product of chance? Can nature really explain itself? When codes create information, shouldn't there be intelligence behind each code? In biology, there's something called the Cambrian explosion. Suddenly, within a short span, thousands of complex species appeared. Not gradually, not by accident, but in a leap no algorithm of randomness could produce. If nature is blind, how does it know beauty? Why are butterfly wings so perfectly symmetrical? Why do sunflowers grow precisely in the golden ratio? Why is the human brain a universe within a universe? The more I advanced in science, the deeper my questions became. Science told me how, but couldn't tell me why. Maybe the answer to why isn't in biology books, but in the book of existence itself. I turned to philosophy, to the language of reason, to the argument of order, to the dialogue between cause and effect. A conversation began in my mind. If the universe has laws, shouldn't there also be a lawgiver? A voice inside me said no. Order can be spontaneous. But I replied, even spontaneity has laws. Laws that, where's the law of nature without a lawmaker? It's like a book without an author. One that wrote itself with ink it created, on paper it printed on its own. Philosophy says every order has an organizer. Science says a law is simply repetition of patterns. But where does repetition come from? From whose mind? The universe spins like a grand clock, but without a clockmaker. Perhaps the old saying is true. The simplest explanation is usually the most likely. Yet the simplest explanation wasn't that there's no one behind it. It was that there is someone. Imagining a creator is far simpler and far more reasonable than imagining a world without one. The more I looked, the clearer the signs became. It's as if the universe speaks in a silent language, a language of numbers, order, and measure. The Quran says that everything was created in perfect proportion, and modern physics expresses the same truth in scientific terms. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, all are tuned with astonishing precision. If gravity were even a billionth weaker, no stars would ever form. If slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed from the beginning. This is the language of science. A universe more delicate than an orchestra where every instrument is perfectly tuned. Can we really say that all this harmony is mere coincidence? When you ask the question of probability, the numbers laugh at you. The chance of such a universe existing without a watcher is so tiny it's beyond imagination. I realize that science is not the enemy of faith. Science is another language of faith. When it says, the law of conservation of energy, I hear, and nothing in the heavens or the earth can escape his power. When it speaks of galaxies, I recall, so glorified is he in whose hand is the dominion of all things. In every particle of life, order flows. In every cell, billions of reactions occur each second. Not random, not blind, but with a precise program. DNA is the book of destiny that God has written within us. And every code seems to whisper, I am not a coincidence. The same order repeats in the depths of the human mind. Neurons, networks, decisions, emotions. Yet the question remains, if my brain is the product of accident, how can it trust truth? If my mind is merely a chemical game, what value does truth have? And if truth does not exist, why do I seek it? That was when I realized doubt is the beginning of faith. And faith is the continuation of reason. I passed through doubts, through laboratories, theories, and debates, and finally returned to simplicity. Simple, like rain, like the light of the sun that shines without being asked why. And I breathed into him of my spirit. A verse I once thought was mere poetry, I now feel in every fiber of my being. Within every human lies a fragment of the heavens, a soul not born of dust nor of accident. I understood that evolution might be a path. But a path to what? A path toward the manifestation of a higher will. God is the creator of laws, not their breaker. He dwells within the system of the universe, not outside it. Evolution is the language of his creation, a gradual movement along the path of destiny. Every being in the universe has both measure and guidance. Nothing is left without direction, not even a grain of dust. When I look into the face of a newborn, I realize the world is not without purpose. The universe itself seems to whisper, I began with love. And now, after years of searching, I have reached certainty. Not born of fear, but of understanding. From the realization that existence cannot be without a creator. Science revealed part of the truth, but faith showed it all. Now I see faith not in miracles, but in law. In the order that repeats humbly every day. In the sunrise that never forgets to rise. In the heart that beats without command. God is neither the rival of science nor the refuge of ignorance. He is the truth from which science begins and in whom reason finds its peace. Yes, I began with doubt, with uncertainty, with questions. But the more I asked, the closer I came to the answer. And now I know. We are of dust, but not merely dust. Within us lies a light from the beginning.